Greetings, and today I have another video for you guys. So this isn't going to be a deck video today. So there is going to be a developer stream in the upcoming patch, I believe 5.1. Developer stream happening tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's gonna happen while I'm at work, so I'm not gonna be able to get a chance to watch it until I get home. And I was just thinking of, like, you know, the current meta and like cards that I think that should be changed or like improved or tweaked. So that's sort of the basis of today's video. Also, we are actually 1 subscriber away from 100 subscribers, so if we manage to get to 100 subscribers, I will do a sort of a special video, well, more like an update, a future of the channels, because I have a lot of ideas and I want to put them out into the channel, all Gwent related. So if you guys did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe for more Gwent content. So I am going to go through 5 cards today that I think should be reworked or should be tweaked. The thing is, doing these kinds of videos is not easy. It's because the meta changes a bit. Like, you know, we're seeing a lot of Redea, Draug, Siege, status not so much, but Swarm and scoia'tael. That's sort of the meta for this for the last 2 months actually. So the meta could be completely different. It could support, it could literally go 180 degrees and just support like different factions overall. So it's hard to make cards like videos like these. So I'm just sort of going with cards that I think should just be reworked completely, so they have more like individual value or like more synergy with their corresponding factions. So without further ado, let's get straight to the 5 cards. Now, of course, the first card, and he's personally my favorite character from the Witcher 3 game, is Ganzer Dim. So Ganzer Dim is pretty much a more expensive version of Morale. In which case they both destroy monsters, but the way Ganzer Dim does it is permanent. So with Morale is give an enemy unit poison, and on order destroy a poisoned enemy unit. Ganzer Dim is pretty much similar, only it's doomed. So Ganzer Dim is very, very expensive, and in some ways I can kind of understand where this was going. Is because there are factions or decks that sometimes rely on summoning cards from the graveyard. So Skellige is really known for this. So if at this current state right now, it's all Ganzer Dim is really meant to do is prevent the cards from being summoned back from the graveyard by permanently removing from the game. So you want to get rid of the Crow Mothers, you want to get rid of Ronvid the Incessant, probably Ermion from just to get second wind ability, but all these examples are very weak. So overall, Ganzer Dim is just a really, really bad card at its current state. If you were to lower Ganzer Dim's provisions maybe to 9, same as Morale's, that actually I think would make him a bit more powerful than Morale. Again, it's because you're giving that ability to banish an enemy unit. So again, like that kind of disrupts monsters also, because Oswald's not gonna get off his big E-turn target. But I think Ganzer Dim, like if we're gonna stick with the doomed, I think he should get maybe some sort of boost. Like for example, if Ganzer Dim destroys an enemy unit with doom, maybe have him increase his power, or have him boost himself by equal to maybe half the power of the destroyed enemy unit. So that kind of gives the incentive for wanting to protect Ganzer, because being able to protect engines nowadays is pretty difficult because defenders get purified pretty easily, and Ganzer Dim's power at 5 makes him relatively vulnerable to cards like Boiling Oil, AT, Nature's Rebuke, cards like that. So, you know, Ganzer Dim is going to be one of those cards that would need to be protected if he gets sort of a rework. You know, if we're sticking with the Doom, then he gets the boost from it, because he should get some sort of reward, because right now a 12 to 5 gap is a pretty big gap to sort of fill. The only way this really pays off is if he only pays off as of this current version is going to be through tall removal. But you know, if you won't always come across tall units, so it's like, you know, you gotta have some sort of compensations where if you destroy, like, let's say a 5 power unit, then you destroy 5, which is 10, and then you get a boost of, let's say, 2 or 3, it kind of equals the provision, or, you know, at least it makes it goes around its provision, because as of its current state, it's really hard to pull him off. And not to mention he's just more expensive, and not to mention Morale is just there as a better option. Nobody was using Ganzer Dim before Morale came out. People are using Ganzer Dim even less when Morale came out. So it went from 0 to literally negative, which is pretty insane. And that's kind of a waste because I love Ganzer Dim. He's my favorite character, and I think he should be reworked. Also, while I'm going through this, if you guys have sort of any ideas on how you guys would like to see them change, definitely let me know in the comments section below, and I will definitely take a read at them as well. The next card, that, in my opinion, that should get a rework is the Necker. This is more of like a nostalgia thing, because when Gwent first came out in closed beta, Neckers used to be super powerful. You'd be able to make copies of Neckers, and I think based on their ability, more Neckers would just come out, because I think that was back when it kind of resembled the Witcher 3 Gwent, in which case if you play a monster, and I think they had the ability to call each other out from the deck, I think on Death Wish, more would come out. So that's what made Necker so powerful. And then they changed it to this version with Thrive, in which you can let it spawn a base copy and summon it to its row. That was pretty decent because you get 2 Thrive engines for the price of 1. Sure, they can get destroyed, but it's like they'd be using cards that usually can damage 2 or 3 on a 1 power unit. So it's like sort of your stronger Thrive units or your stronger cards could still be played without much reaction. But now with the introduction of the Indrega Larva, which is literally a stronger version of the Necker, makes the Necker completely obsolete. Plus the Indrega Larva having 2 armor just makes it even harder for it to remove. So it would be cool if Necker's ability, I mean, you could go back the way before where it was like Death Wish, you can summon this from the deck, but that's already Foglet's ability, so it's probably not, you know, so necessary to have that. I think Necker's being a Thrive unit would still be pretty good. Personally, I'm not 100% sure how I would make this change, especially considering that Indrega Larva is now a thing. But yeah, Necker is definitely a card I think that should get reworked as well. The first two, obviously, you can tell that there are stronger versions of those cards with relatively similar ability. The only positive side is that it's 1 less provision from the Indrega Larva, and provision costs are pretty big. Like even just a decrease in provision actually kind of makes a big difference if you want to go for a card that's decent with your deck's energy to a card that's really strong with your deck's energy. So provision is also pretty important as well. The next card in this list is going to be Ciri. So Ciri is a Witcher card that whenever you lose a round, you can return this unit from the battlefield to your hand. This card used to be pretty good before the gold immunity update came out years ago. Card advantage used to be a lot more of a problem back in the old days, because you're able to find ways to sort of have more cards in your hand even if you did lose a round. A good example I'm talking about would be spies. What spies used to do is when you play the spy on your opponent's side of the field, you'd give them like 15 extra power, but you got to draw a card from your deck. So if you got blue coin, in a certain match, you played a spy, you pretty much got turned to red coin, in which case you have the card advantage. But at 15 power, you know, your opponent could just pass, and then you'd still have to try and beat that, you know, that gap you made with the 15-point spy. So I thought that game, that kind of mechanic was actually really good. Ciri's just, that doesn't really relate too much to Ciri, except for the fact that, you know, this is sort of helping with card advantage. So I would just honestly, personally, I would rework Ciri completely, like maybe not have this ability at all, but she's just so iconic with this ability that they probably just keep it. But you know, I want to be able to use Ciri as well. Maybe make her be more of a Witcher support. You know, perhaps like maybe whenever a Witcher is summoned, maybe summon her from the deck or something. I'm not sure, but that's kind of similar to like what Roach and Knickers does, and Ciri is literally just going to be a version of that, maybe for Witcher, so that could be help with some Witcher synergy. That's just an idea. It's kind of tough, like I said, right? Because you kind of don't know where the direction goes when a new meta is introduced. Well, when I say new meta, it's just like patches get changed, and like with those patch changes, like completely just change the face of the meta. It's pretty funny how like a simple provision increase or decrease can completely change a deck's ability to be powerful or not, which is pretty crazy. So everything is really fragile. It's really tough. These last two cards are going to be cards that definitely are pretty powerful in the meta. Redea, of course, she is the face of the Merchants of Ophir. Now, so I've watched some Gwent podcast. I know people are talking about how like Redea is super powerful, but they have to make it like that because she's the face of the Merchants of Ophir expansion. Yes, that is true. Because she is sort of the mascot or like the face of the Merchants of Ophir expansion, you kind of have to make her really powerful so that people would be encouraged to sort of play her. And this kind of comes from an idea, like when I was used to play Overwatch with my friends, they would talk about how like whenever a new hero comes out, they purposely make them powerful and then they nerf them down, like in the upcoming patch. Like I think it was a month after the hero came out, and they would do that on purpose so that they would get people to play this new champion. Because why would you introduce a new champion or a new card if you're not gonna play them? Like, you introduce this card, it's absolutely weak, I'm not gonna play it. What's the point of bringing it out in the first place, right? Especially if it's a card like Redea. If it was a bronze card, maybe, like, they can definitely get away with that. But if it's a card like Redea, where she is the complete mascot of this whole expansion, then, you know, she's gonna get so much power. She's essentially a 13 for 10 almost every single time. If you're playing scoia'tael, it's 12 for 10, but then again, you can trigger Harmony, you can trigger Feign Death, so it gets even stronger. You can trigger Isengrim, so... And you can even trigger Aileron because that's 2 extra elves to count to your 5. So it's pretty insane, the power of Redea. To make this change, maybe if you do the stratagem thing, maybe you'd make it on order. Because 8 for 10 to begin with is actually already really powerful. Like, in my opinion, she's literally just a 1 down from the Frenzied Dao, which is 9 for 11 with no ability. So if you're gonna keep the deploy on the stratagems, maybe bring her down to maybe a 6 or 5, because there's no way you're gonna counter this. That's not possible. It's on the deploy. So the only way you can really counter it is if you fill up your opponent's row to the point where they don't have enough space to play Radia and the stratagem. That's really their only weakness. But other than that, Redea's ability just goes off without a hitch. Like, you get that 13 for 10 regardless. Something else that that was pointed out that I kind of agree with is that if you're trying to go high risk, high glory, there's definitely going to have to be a high consequence as well. So there should be some sort of condition in how you're going to get that like 13 for 10 gap, like 13 power for 10 provisions. That should, like, you should have to do something, whether it's like combo it with another card or like make sure that your engine is completely protected and stuff like that. So, you know, but this one is super easy to get. So I'm expecting this to get either reworked or tweaked. But as of right now, if this card doesn't change, it's gonna be in future decks next month and the months coming after. So I am expecting this to get reworked or nerfed or whatever, but yeah, definitely has something to be done with it. But at the same time, I can also understand why it was made to be pretty powerful in the first place. The last card, of course, is the stronger version of Ganzer Dim, which is Maral. The reason why Maral's on this list is for different reasons than Ganzer Dim. Now, Ganzer Dim has no support. Maral has a crap ton of support. Maral you can combo it with the Dryad, oh, I forgot the name. The Dryad Ranger, I believe, that lets you poison. King Cobra, which is now starting to get added in most poison decks. Fizz Tech from Syndicate. Fangs of the Empire, and pretty much any status from Nilfgaard. Maral just had so much, like, when Maral got added, it just completely boosted up the poison play from pretty much any deck. Like, almost any faction can run Maral because of their ability to poison. Maral guarantees a poison regardless on whether it can destroy a unit on its own or if it gets destroyed and then you just play another poison unit, because your opponent doesn't have enough. Your opponent only has 1 turn and he kind of has to prioritize something. If you choose to kill Maral, obviously another card's gonna come in and kill their poison target. Or you can choose to kill your poison target, or you can choose to purify your poison target, but then Maral has that order ability, and then another card can still come in and kill your card that got poisoned. So Maral is like 98% a guaranteed poison. The 2%, don't even ask me where it's coming from. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be 100%, but you know, I don't want to sound like, you know, it's 100% optimistic, but to be real, it is 100% that Maral, whenever Maral is played, just pretty much guarantee that whatever he targets is gonna be dead. So it's actually a really powerful card. If this was gonna get tweaked, I would say Maral should go down to maybe a 3 or a 2, because Maral can destroy whoever the heck he wants, whether he does it himself or he combos it with another card that has poison. That's the thing with Maral. So I think Maral should actually be decreased. I would rather make it, or if that's not the case, just maybe take off the, actually no, I don't know about taking off the order ability, because otherwise it just becomes a stronger version of King Cobra. So maybe have some sort of poison synergy. Maybe this card could get boosted just on poison, so it's gonna be a weaker version of the Thirsty Dame, but to kind of make up for it, it can be used in multiple factions. I don't know, that's just kind of a thing. It's, again, it's really hard to predict, especially with where the meta would go next month, because a lot of things can change. Like, there could be like a lot of cards that get reworked. These are just 5 cards. I think that something should be done to them. Yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What cards you guys think should be reworked or tweaked for the upcoming patch, or maybe in future patches. Leave a like if you guys did enjoy this video, and please subscribe for more Gwent content. Almost 100 subscribers. We're gonna do that special video on the way. Other than that, this is Enzo signing out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.